Hey guys, what's up? Murderer Birds here. Long time no see for those of you who are subscribed to me, and for those of you tuning in now, welcome to an unboxing video of mine, one that I'm really excited to be bringing you guys, and one that I've been looking forward to doing for a very long time, with a newly released game that just came out that I'm really looking forward to playing, which is the Final Fantasy Type-0 HD PS4 Collector's Edition. I pre-ordered this a few weeks ago, and just came in today. The game released today, and I'm really looking forward to playing it. I'm kind of a tenderfoot when it comes to the Final Fantasy series overall, but I'm really influenced and I'm really enthusiastic about JRPGs like Kingdom Hearts and the Tales of series and old games like on the PS1 and PS2. For the Final Fantasy series, it's a series that I honestly really dodged during my childhood. I haven't played majority of the sequel titles and the chronological titles, like 1, 2, 3, like the numbered titles. I should have said. I've played like 13. I've played 10. I played the 10 series. I played the first 13. Didn't really like 13-2. Never got into the Lightning Returns. Like I played 7 and stuff like that. But honestly, I have an unbiased opinion of this game just because, and as well as the fact that this is a remake. This game was also released on the PlayStation Portable as Type-0. Never owned a PSP. Never played any PSP games, and it was also released in Japan under the title of Agito 13, which this game also shares the same lore as Final Fantasy 13 and 15 with the concepts of Eidolons, crystals, focuses, and the Lassie. So it's a familiar concept that I'm used to from playing 13. But this game's pretty awesome. It goes into it's a very dark and serious theme, revolving around a military upheaval amongst these United Nations, if you will. You play as a massive influx of characters. I think about 14 characters, different personalities, different fighting styles, different weapons, and it's honestly pretty awesome. And I was like, the only time I've ever heard about this game was when it was announced to come to PlayStation 4, so I was like, what the hell, I'm going to pick up the game. I have a channel, I have a collector's edition, something that a lot of people are probably looking into getting or looking into just seeing what comes with it. So I figured, hey, what the hell, I'll do a collector's edition unboxing, show you guys everything, and you know, I'll eventually get to play it. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm going to be going through all the things about this, giving you guys my take on it, this, that, and the other. So I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into it. Alright guys, so the first thing, obviously, first and foremost, is the collector's box in of itself. Has the Final Fantasy Type-0 HD title right there. It has the iconic illustrations of the two goddesses. Usually they're somewhat incorporated with the title, normally in traditional Final Fantasy games, but this one was pretty cool. Obviously it's the collector's edition, so they want to do something a little bit different. On the side here we also have the spine of the collector's edition with the Final Fantasy Type-0 HD placement right there as well. And then in the back, just getting into, obviously, displays all of the content of the collector's edition, which, I mean, this is the unboxing, so I'm going to showcase this. And then these are the 14 different characters, all posing like badasses. Like I said, 14 different characters. I think this is an immense roster of Final Fantasy characters. Each one brings something different to the table in terms of combat, in terms of personality, in terms of depth and character development and interaction and all that stuff. So I think that was pretty awesome. But outside of the box itself, I'm going to open this and we're going to see everything that's inside. Alright, so honestly, this collector's edition has a lot of stuff, and I feel like it was a great deal to get. So the first thing I'm going to showcase to you guys is the limited edition golden steelbook case. As you guys can see, it radiates in the light. It's really awesome. I love the finish of the steelbook cases of a lot of my games, like the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 collector's edition as well. If you guys can see here, you guys can get a better look at the detailed illustrations of the two goddesses that are also on the box cover of the box. You have that one on the back, and then this one over here as well, which is pretty sick. Also in the spine, you have the Final Fantasy Type-0 HD title. And opening this up, we have a few pamphlets here. I'll get to those in a second. But what's pretty cool and pretty special is that we have 2 discs that come in this. The first one being obviously the video game itself, the Final Fantasy HD Type-0 HD video game for the PS4. But we also have a composer-selected soundtrack. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there are 15 different songs in there, in this. Obviously, from the video game, composer select, so it's from the composer themselves that chose these very meticulously to be included in the game. This aside, the pamphlets that we have inside, we have a few here. We have the composer selected soundtrack composed by Takehiro Ishimoto. So Takehiro Ishimoto is the composer who went about sampling all of these and putting them in the game. We have Temporis Bellum, the beginning of the end, and we also do have 15 beginning of the end, guided conclusions, Divine Fire, Servants of the Crystal, Machina, Rem. We have a few war titles in here as well, Vermilion Fire, Type-0. So we have a bunch, and I'm really looking forward to listening to these. Final Fantasy, if there's one thing that they do well, it's their OSTs, and they make it feel like it's a fantasy world. Second thing here, manual. If you guys just want to see how that looks, but let's be real, manuals are non-existent in this day and age. But what's really cool and something that I'm really conflicted with, I don't know which one I'm going to end up playing first, my voucher for the Final Fantasy 15 episode Duskai demo. I don't know which one I'm going to play first. Like, it's so hard because like I really, really want to play Type-0 first because I've never played it before. But at the same time, I've been waiting years since when I had my PS2. When the PS3 was announced, I was like, okay, I'm getting Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm getting God of War 3, and I'm getting Final Fantasy Versus 13 when that's what it was originally called. The entire PS3 life cycle never came out. PS4 came out, they ended up announcing it, and I was like, dude, I've just been waiting for this game for so long, and you know, it's a demo, and I'll always be able to just go back and replay. Whereas Final Fantasy, it's actually a retail game. It's a complete unique experience. Whereas the Duskai, I do have to wait for the official game. So I'm still on the fence of which one I'm going to end up starting. So we have those. From there, we're going to move on to the manga of the that comes included with the collector's edition. It is a 200-page manga, which is a prologue of Type-0. Not necessarily an entire synopsis, but it does go a little bit into the origin of the Class 0, how they all came to be. Ace, who is the main, I would assume is the leader, the wielder of cards. He is definitely a core aspect in this manga. There's the front. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the front one. Manga are read from right to left, so it's basically reversed from America. So that's the front cover right there. Final Fantasy Type-0. You have Ace, Rem, which is the girl, and Machina, and then on the back you have some other members of Class 0. The only one that I know of is this girl right here, her name's Seven, and this girl right here, her name is Queen, and that's because I did a little extra research before I actually started the game for myself. So this is the dust cover, so I'm going to take this off so I don't mess it up, and I'll just put this over here for now. And it's basically the same exact rendition of the dust cover. You got the front right there. It's a little bit better just because it's not like all flopping all over the place. But basically, this is your traditional style manga. And you have the first page, which is basically an origin story, I would say, of child Ace, who comes to realize he's going to be taking part in this elite class. And he ends up meeting his classmates, getting his weapon of choice, which is the cards, and it basically goes into an origin story of him bonding with his teammates, his classmates, if you will. I don't know if any of this is canonical to the game itself, and there have also been rumors that Final Fantasy Type-0 is going to become a series in of itself, so I'm not entirely sure if this will end up continuing onward. But this is definitely something that, if you're a manga reader, if you enjoy manga, this is a adaptation of a game. So this is actually it's a different aspect than if like a manga is adapted into an anime, and so on and so forth. And I do collect manga as well. Like I'm known for like my anime collection and my manga collection, like Hunter x Hunter, Naruto, and all that other stuff. So this is actually really awesome. And then showing you guys some of the panels. Like I said, it's your traditional black and white panel of manga style. Really interesting stuff here. 200 pages, so it's definitely going to keep me preoccupied for a very long time. So we have the 200-page manga. From there, narrowing it down to the last two things. This next one right here, really enthusiastic. Really looking forward to actually like sitting down and really looking in and diving deep into these. But this is the 80-page hardcover art book of the collector's edition. We have the Class 0 842 there, and then we have Rubrum Orient, which is which is the name of one of the nations, the one that actually takes place in the game at the very start, and where Class 0 hails from. So this is basically the art book, a bunch of illustrations, a bunch of drawings from the many artists who worked on the game, and here we have Welcome to Class 0, a letter from the director. Hajime Tabata. So I'm going to read this out. This is a letter for, I'm guessing, for the fans. Here we are. Hello, everyone. My name is Hajime Tabata, director of Final Fantasy Type-0 HD. This title only exists because of you, the fans, who made your voices heard. I'd like to personally thank everyone who requested the release of this game in the West because we couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for your patience. And I also want to thank everyone who voiced their opinions of this too, because I wasn't one of those people. And it's because of, the voices were heard by these directors and by the developers that I'm even able to play this game. So I thank you as well. In Final Fantasy Type-0 HD, you'll take on the role of Class 0, 14 students who make up an elite task force. They find themselves facing the unthinkable as their home country is invaded by a powerful and technologically superior force. How will such young people face the atrocities of war? How can they cling to their youth in a world where their choices will shape the future of nations? I hope that you'll discover the answers to these questions as you play. It is also my sincere hope that you enjoyed this game through enough to play all the way through to the end. While I'm very proud of the many successes of this title, it is only the beginning of what we aim to accomplish, and it would be great for you to come along the ride. Please enjoy this game, as well as the beautiful art in this book that many talented artists worked very hard to bring to life. Sincerely, Hajime Tabata. And I love how directors and animators and developers, they do this. They really show how much they appreciate their fans. They really show how grateful they are to have a fan base like the Final Fantasy fan base of people who wanted to see this game, who wanted to be along for the ride, and who basically support the new direction that Final Fantasy is going in, for the good or for the better or for the worse. For the old school fans to the new school fans. You know what I mean? So getting into this, we have the Class 0 characters right off the bat, and you have these little, synopsises of what kind of characters they are, what kind of people they are. You have Rem, who is Miss Magical. You have Makina, which is the honor student, so he's probably like a person who does right, to get good grades in class. You have Jack, who's that traditional class clown, always making jokes, making people laugh, being, the center of attention. Ace, which is the cool card shark. I'm guessing he's the quote-unquote cool kid. Queen here is the goody two-shoes, so she's the one who never gets in trouble, always has a perfect image of herself, etc. Trey, which is the know-it-all, so I'm guessing he can be a bit cocky at times. And then you have these other characters. By the way, if you haven't noticed, their names are based off of like a deck of playing cards. So you have Ace, the Queen. You have Jack at the bottom. You have King at the bottom. I'm sorry. And Jack's right here. So those are basically the suits. And then you have numbers: Deuce, Trey, 7, 9, 8, Cease. So you get the idea. But I think that's pretty cool. And then you have the table of contents. So you have Class 0. They're getting into the different types of nations. Rubrum, Milites Empire, Kingdom of Concordia, Lurican Alliance. Oh, and cool. Then it gets a little bit more in-depth with each character, showing off the character with their weapon of choice. I really love Cease here because she has the scythe. Scythes are unconventional, but at the end of the day, they're just so badass. And if you can pull off animations and choreography with them, they're pretty sick. So it talks basically about each character's nature, how, their personalities and stuff like that. So you get to learn a little bit about them before you actually play the game. You have 7, you have 8, Jack, 9 here. A bunch of other stuff. So just going a little bit further into some of the concept art. You have the Lurican Alliance. So these are one of the nation's defenders, I'm guessing. You have Gilgamesh, and Kidu over here. These two guys look pretty badass. The artwork looks pretty awesome here as well. From here, we have some Eidolons. So like I said, the Eidolons are one of the concepts of the Fabula Nova Chrysalis subplot. So they're basically the summons of the world. So even here you have like Golem. They have a Golem right here. Odin, which Odin also played a role in the Final Fantasy 13 with Lightning's Eidolon. Diablos here. He looks like a freaking Dragon Lord. You have a Bahamut. This guy's name is Bahamut right there. So that's like an ode to the old school Bahamut as well. And a bunch of other stuff. Like this art book looks insane. This art book looks crazy. Oh my gosh, this illustration. Look at this. Look at this. Both of them look pretty good. You have Rem and Makina on this one, and then you have like Class 0 right there looking like bosses. I'm definitely going to sit down and really take this in, because this is something that's really awesome. Just wanted to showcase that to you guys, show a little bit of that. And then the last thing that we have here, which is pretty cool too, are 5 cards. These are Ace's cards. Ace uses cards as his weapon. And they kind of remind me of tarot cards in this, from the design, from the style, like the fortune teller cards, the ones that they flip over and they tell like your fortune or your future or whatever. So on the back, they basically look like this, and these are the cards that he throws at his opponents to use to fight. But on the front side, you have different Eidolons. So I haven't seen this Eidolon before. He looks like he's a fire attribute, like a demon lord. So you have this fire guy. You have the Ice Girl, which she is basically Shiva. Shiva was also an Eidolon in the Final Fantasy 13. She was Snow's Eidolon in 13. And from the book that I just saw, this one I think is Bahamut. He has like the kind of like rigid wings, so that's what it kind of looks like. The dragon dude looked like this one is what's his name? I just saw him. Diablos, that's this one, like the winged dragon looking one. And then this last one, we haven't seen him, but he has a cape and he has like some shoulder padding, so that's pretty cool too. So that's literally everything that came in the Final Fantasy. We had the collector's box, the steelbook case, the soundtrack, the 200-page manga, the 80-page hardbook art book, and Ace's cards. So that's everything that came in it. This is like a really awesome collection. I definitely got it for a good deal, especially. But yeah, that's just the unboxing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if any of you guys are picking up Final Fantasy Type-0. If any of you guys are playing the demo or anything like that, let me know what you guys thought about the video, about the unboxings of any of the collector's items that I got. All of that in the comment section. I'll get back to all of you. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And thanks for watching my video. Take care.